Hello, good evening. Welcome to Guns and Yellow Ribbons. It's myself and Trevor. We've done it. We've got through the season. Didn't get it where we wanted. We want to hear what you have to say. It's our phone in. We're going to talk about the Southampton game, congratulate the ladies on achieving a momentous Champions League title and much, much more. But really, we want to hear from you. Give us a call. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, Trevor. You know what? I arrived in Southampton at 12 o'clock and I got out of my seat of that train and I stood right through till I got home until I got to the tube at Waterloo. All the way throughout the day at the bars we were standing, at the game we were standing, and all the way back on the train. My back's knackered. I'm shattered. Honestly, mate. It's unreal.
Yeah. Well, I did it slightly differently to you, didn't I, mate? I drove down yesterday morning and came back today. But yeah, right now, I'm very tired. I'm glad the season's over for a few weeks. I'm going to put my feet up, and then by the time we get into July, I'll be ready to go again. You know, we always are, aren't we? You know, it's like it lives inside you, this watching football, this bug, doesn't it? You know, this love for a football club, and you can't get rid of it. Don't matter how hard you try. You get tired like we are now, but a few weeks' time, we'll be back. We'll be back and away again.
We will. Trevor, let's first of all, before we start off anywhere, let's talk about this.
Of Europe, the Arsenal!
The Arsenal ladies, they're champions of Europe, winning 1-0, a 73-minute. It's
Blackstenius.
Blackstenius, thank you. You did say before. And Blackstenius scored a 73-minute goal to secure a victory against which I believe Barcelona were 6 times on a run Champions League final winners prior to this. So a massive achievement. Seeing some of the stuff that I've seen on social media, everybody expected Arsenal to lose 4, 5, 6 nil and silly things like that. But the girls... Oh, sorry, wrong one. The girls, they picked up the Women's Champions League final. I didn't watch much of it, Trevor. I know you watched some of it. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I do watch. You know, we can't say too much on this podcast because we don't cover much of the women's football. You know, and that's not because we don't want to. It's because it's what we do is cover the men's team. But you have to stand up and give credit where it's due. I mean, I've watched all the women's game on the television recently, and they went into that final of the Champions League as massive underdogs. I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was saying about the women in the final, and I said, "Oh, we're trying not to get our hopes up. It'd be lovely for them to win it." But actually, on the day, they could have gone in the final. They could have gone in at half time. A couple of goals up. The Arsenal played that well in the first half. They really did. Against, as you just said, I don't know what their exact history is, but Barcelona were the best ladies side in Europe by a mile, you know. So, yeah, they could have gone up 2-0 at half time. Second half, Barcelona came out and got at them, and you're thinking, right, here we go. You know, the Barcelona team was starting to turn it on now, and we came under pressure. But we held up superbly, the Arsenal women. Nothing but praise and pride, actually, in the way they performed, backs to the wall, and then they break away. And Blackstenius, who's a substitute that often comes on and gets a goal, did her job, did what she was there to do, came on and, scored the winner, hence the celebrations. And, you know, just while I'm on it, and I'm waffling a bit now, but just before I finish, it has to be mentioned, the Arsenal fans that have followed the ladies this season in particular are wonderful. They get behind that ladies' side unbelievably, and they travel in their numbers all over Europe, all over the country. And to see all those fans celebrating in that wonderful stadium in that wonderful city of Lisbon was brilliant. And I've got nothing but praise and pride for our ladies. And I have a wonderful year celebrating being champions of Europe. Yeah, champions of Europe. Well done, ladies.
Somebody's in the chat said, how do you come on? We're going to put a link. Once we've done the Southampton game, we'll do 5 minutes on the Southampton game. There will be a link on the YouTube chat. And I'm also going to put a link in the comments underneath Hilsey and mine Twitter feed. So hopefully people will be able to get on. We'll stay on for a reasonable amount of time, and we look forward to speaking to all of you. Remember, keep it clean, keep it nice, keep it positive. It's the end of the season. It hasn't been a bad season. It's been lots of positive take out of the season. Trevor, let's look at the actually before we go and finish that, the one thing I did like, and I know we normally play this at the end of the show, but I'm going to play it now. We'll play again at the end of the show. Just finishing off on the Champions League one. I clicked the button slightly early before. It's this. It was the Arsenal fans. There was 5,000, I believe, out in Lisbon, and the Arsenal team went to them and sang North London Forever together with them.
Do you know what? Sorry, folk. Go on, you first. Go on.
No, go. You go say, yeah.
Firstly, before I mention that, Demsek, our good mate Kev, he makes a massive point there in that Chelsea played Barca in the earlier round of the Super League of the Champions League, and Barca actually beat Chelsea 7-2. Right. That perfectly. Thanks for that comment, Demsek. It really sums it up perfectly. Just what a superb performance it was in Lisbon from our ladies. It really, really was. And good luck to them. I mean, I posted a little bit of clip of that on my social media after it happened and about North London Forever and the ladies singing it like that. It was wonderful. I hope we do it with the men soon. I really do. But this is a woman's achievement, right? And people have been comparing it to the men's stuff, and you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't downplay what the women have done with any other chat apart from how good the women are. The women deserve that at least. The women deserve our full compliments, and good luck to them. Good luck to them. And North London Forever isn't manufactured, right? And it isn't false, as some people have said just the last day or two on social media. So North London Forever is our anthem. You like it or you loathe it. It's here to stay, I believe, folks.
It is. I don't think it will go anywhere. It will be there for generations to come, I think. And there are other songs. Good Old Arsenal will be there and it's played ahead of the games, but not sung by all the crowd. And it, it's sung by small sections and Be Jesus and so on. Southampton 1, Arsenal 2. Arteta was in the stands after 3 yellow cards. His last one was a pathetic yellow card when he was trying to kick the ball back to a player that went wayward and went onto the pitch against Newcastle. A point against Southampton meant that Arsenal would finish second 3 years running. The last time we'd done that 3 years running finished in 2001 season, 2001 season, which again, our final game was at Southampton. And we followed that up after finishing 3 times second. We followed that up with a double. Trevor, the lineups for this game. Well, first of all, we had a great day. Lovely trip down. Met some great people. Had we found some sketchy pubs, first of all. But this pub we found was really good. The Arsenal family. It was wonderful to meet up with everyone, as always, in the patchy sunshine, wasn't it, Trev?
Yeah, oh, what a fantastic day. Yesterday was exactly what last game of the season is all about, right? Meeting up with all your good mates, having a few beers in the sunshine. Important to have sunshine last day of the season. Talking, all we talked about was what we've done all season, how good it was. Southampton was just a game that needed to be played. There was nothing riding on it, which we wish it was. We wish that the Premier League was riding on yesterday's game, but it wasn't. So, and that made the atmosphere a lot easier. I thought, Ferg. Very little talk about yesterday's game in the pub, was there, before it kicked off? We were all just reminiscing and laughing and smiling and doing what we do best. Looking forward to supporting our great club, mate.
Get your tats out.
Only when I was forced to.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of singing together. Let's look at the lineup. The lineup was slightly changed. Lots of changes. Sterling starts. Zinni starts. Wanyeri starts. And a strong bench because the on the pitch side was okay, but not the strongest one in the world. How did you feel about Sterling starting, Trev?
I found it a Folks, do you think we should bring Darling yet? Because we've got Mark waiting as well. So
I'll tell you what. Give it 2 minutes. Let's just quickly go through this game. I thought we'd do it at
yeah.
Well,
All
we've
right.
got 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, just quickly go through the game.
Me to step on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know your place.
I'd have trouble reaching them, getting around to them, but never mind. Yeah, that was the only surprise. I thought we'd put out a team that surprised us. I was over the moon to see Tierney starting. Over the moon to see Tierney starting. I thought Jorginho might have got a start as well, if I'm honest. But
yeah,
Sterling was a bit of a strange one, to be honest. And I'm not going to linger on Sterling. It hasn't worked out. I actually feel sorry for the lad because we're all desperate for him to do well, but it hasn't worked out. And I thought that I was very surprised to see him start the game yesterday. And if I'm honest, he was no better yesterday than he has been all season, mate.
No, he hasn't had a proper run. I think I said to Darren on Twitter that it was a gamble. It was if it had paid off, everyone would be saying Edu and Arteta are fantastic. It didn't work out for him. He didn't get a proper run of games, and I think his confidence is shot. Listen, there's 2 or 3 points I want to talk about on this game. Kieran Tierney getting a goal on his final game, and the captain getting a goal from distance again, and also the way the reception are, the farewell that the fans gave to Tierney, to Jorginho at the game, and that's us more or less done on the Southampton game because there's not a huge amount to analyse, is there?
No, not really. No, not really. They did. The fans gave Tierney and Jorginho a great send off, which is what we expected because that's what Arsenal fans do. I was over the moon to see Odegaard score again because that's a massive part of what's been lacking in our challenge in the title this season. That type of goal from our midfield players, we've not had enough of them. So I was over the moon to see Odegaard get his goal. Yeah, and then of course Tierney scoring was the icing on the cake, wasn't it? It was lovely. Yeah, over the moon for him. Wish he was staying. I genuinely.
And finally, this man behind us, he was made very welcome by the Arsenal fans. Aaron Ramsdale, at the end of the game, respectfully, he clapped his home support, and then he came around to the Arsenal, and we sang his name, England's number one, Aaron Ramsdale. There's only one Aaron Ramsdale, and I thought it was just a nice, classy touch by the Arsenal, don't you think?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, of course, it was always going to happen. It was always going to happen. I think Ramsdale was probably in a bit of a situation because I'll be surprised if Ramsdale's still at Southampton next season. So you're probably saying goodbye to the Southampton supporters at the same time as he was thanking us for our support. So yeah, I felt a bit for the lad, but yeah, he did it. He did right. Made a couple of good saves and let 2 goals in, so we won. So perfect day for us at Ramsdale.
Well, Jesus has come out of retirement or out of injury, and he's now asking people to call in. We've got a couple of people sitting in the background who are going to call us. They clicked on this link. So if you go onto YouTube or Twitter feed, you will see it. Go to that StreamYard and stick that number at the end, and you'll be able to come on. First up that we have on, sorry, just let me get rid of Jesus first. First up we got is a friend of the show, guest many times in the year, is Dale. Dale, welcome to the show. How you doing, mate?
Evening, gents. How are we? We well?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good.
Do you know what, Dal? I said before you came on to Fergus, right? I'd give him my best angry face like this, right? And I said, do not call Dal Jamie O'Hara tonight, right? Leave the kid alone tonight, right? Leave the kid alone.
Bet you're happy on Wednesday, weren't you, Dale?
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Go on, Dale, tell us, sum up what you thought of the season.
You know what, right? I still look at this as a bit of a transition. Yes, we're going to start seeing things change soon, and we all know what's needed, so we can beat the drum a million times about what we need and what's gone wrong and what's that. But we finished second. We were in a semi-final of a Champions League. What more could we have asked for? I know we fell a little bit short. We know we did, but we need that little bit extra to take us over the line. And I'm very excited for the summer because I do think the board know that. I'd love to see our great manager Arteta putting the pressure on the board as well. He did it in January. He did it at the end of the season as well. And I'm expecting big things from the club in the transfer window. I think they know what's needed now, and we'll see what happens.
Do you know what, folks? A really interesting point Dal makes there, right? In that, regardless of the fact we've not won anything this season, I can get it in my head why we've not won anything. I've got this reasoning, and when I think about it like that, I still go into next season full of the expectation that I did at the start of this season just gone. You know, nothing has changed in my head. I'm still happy with where we are and what we're doing. You know, so yeah, Dale's exactly right from my perspective. Looking forward, I'm excited about next season again. I'm not dreading it, which I have done in the past.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm conscious that we got other people waiting as well, Del. What was your favorite like home game that you attended this season?
Got to say Madrid, mate. I was sat right behind those two Declan Rice free kicks, literally my eye line, and they were things of beauty. And they're going to go down in the history of this great club. They really will. Sadly, we couldn't take it over the line, but you can't take that away from old Declan Rice. He hit two absolute bangers. Taking away the result, though, the concourse was electric, the company was electric, and the whole build-up to that game was just out of this world, absolutely out of this world. Starting on the podcast, we spoke about it here a few weeks before the actual game itself. So that was probably in fact, no, take the word probably away. That was definitely my favourite home moment of the season.
Yeah. Trev, what would you put the Dale?
Oh, I don't know. We see Dale most weeks, don't we? So, you know, we talk about this stuff all the time. You know, I'll tell you what, let's go completely off on a tangent, Dale. Leeds, Sheffield United, Leeds, Burnley, and Sunderland. I'm over the moon Sunderland are coming up. I really am. No disrespect to Sheffield United, but it makes a change, Sunderland coming up. Over the last few seasons, they've really struggled, all the teams that have come up, really struggled. Who stays up out of them three, Dal?
Good question. Personally, I think the only one who potentially could stay up is Leeds. I don't think the others have the financial clout behind them just yet. Leeds have got the advantage of they've been up there, they've been down, they've got the parachute payments, they've still got those big wages on their books. I think Leeds have got the potential to stay up. And you mentioned just before I came on about Aaron Ramsdale. I think that's a likely destination for someone like Ramsdale. I really do. I think they're in desperate need of a goalkeeper. They're going to look at Aaron Ramsdale to sit there and say, right, we need a goalkeeper to stop the goals coming in. Scoring them is one part, but stopping them is another part. So I think Aaron Ramsdale goes to Leeds, and I think Leeds potentially have the ability to stay up there. For me, that's the only one out of the three that potentially stay up.
Dale, we're going to let you go because got a couple of other people waiting in the wings, and you've had plenty of say over the season. It's been. I don't know what he's doing there.
No, I'm just in a bit. I'm knackered, right? It's been a long day again yesterday and today. Long couple of days. Dale, I just want to.
I just want a massive thank you as well.
I just want to say before you go that it's been a pleasure talking to you this season. It's great. We meet on a concourse every game, But one thing you also do is you also look after people around you. With you've got 2 season tickets and you go to most games, but if ever you can't go, you always look after the people that can't get tickets very often. You do it the right way. You transfer them to them, and not talking out of turn. It's all done correctly. But I know that's well appreciated, and it was worth a mention, mate. So they'll have a lovely summer, and see you in July, son.
Cheers, guys. See you again soon. All the best.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, bye. But next on, we'll bring in Mark. Mark, how are you?
Guys, I'm good, guys. I met you obviously in Newcastle away, if you could remember.
We did.
There was a few drinks on the go at that point, I believe. But
Well,
it was.
By the time we arrived there, we were still sober because I was driving an electric car, so I had to stop at 5 minutes to charge the bloody thing.
It was about night anyway. My hamstring's still done in from climbing these stairs, so next time I popped up there, I will take the lift up to the top. But it was an interesting night, a very good night. This season's been a mixed bag for me. Started the season off, and I'm a very positive Arsenal fan, and I try to take a balance within Arsenal. To finish so close to City last season, almost win the league, and then not do anything in the summer transfer window, for me was a bit catastrophic. But at the same time, of looking back in hindsight, I don't know how close the club, and no one will know this, how close we were to FFP. Etc. But we're close to breaching the rules, and that's maybe why we didn't do so much. And I've heard Arsenal fans come out on Mourinho, and he's been amazing, especially second half of the season. But to take in Calafiori, I don't think there is an Arsenal fan, and not even you guys that travel home, away across Europe, who could ever foreseen Miles Lewis-Skelly doing what he's done this season. I'm Miles Lewis-Skelly's biggest fan. I've watched him in the academy. What that kid's done, there is, honestly, I would look anyone in the eye and say, you're a liar if you thought Miles would be this good, this soon. So the Calafiori signing was, for me, it was justified. The 2 loan signings were horrendous. I said that at the time, I'd done a podcast at the time, and I was very much against both loan signings. And in January, we'd done absolute zero. But to sum up and just round up before you throw questions at me, I think Arteta has done amazing, and I think Arsenal have progressed this season. Arteta's progressed, the squad's progressed, because you tell me any other club, and I get told that I'm not adding context or I'm making excuses. You tell me any other manager in Europe or the world that could actually get Arsenal Football Club to still finish second and get to semi-final Champions League, where we could have had the opportunity with all these injuries and also the club not doing what I expected them to do. I think Arteta has done absolutely amazing, guys.
Mark, listen. Listen. I can't ask you any questions, mate, because you've just about answered them all there. No, you've just about answered them all. No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Go on, Ferg.
No, to be honest, I agree with you totally, Mark. I think Arteta has done a great job. Yeah, he hasn't got us over the line, but we've been to the semi-final in the League Cup, semi-final in the Champions League, beating Real Madrid the way we did. The performance we even had against PSG, I thought, was outstanding, considering we got with a sucker punch in 3 minutes and still managed, despite them dominating the game for the first half hour, still managed to keep it 1-0 to bring it back and have a competition at Parc des Princes. And even in the Parc des Princes, we were just unlucky. We came up against one of the world's best keepers. And if that guy is not up in the nominations, if they win the Champions League, if he's not up there for the nominations of the Ballon d'Or and be the first goalkeeper to get a Ballon d'Or, I think he'd be the first anyway, I will be surprised. On Miles Lewis-Skelly, 100%. I've been screaming about Miles Lewis-Skelly and the impact he's made on our side, and thinking he's got to be the player of the season. But then you look how Declan Rice has improved. You look how you have to allow for the injuries of other players as well. The players that have actually had good seasons and not so many injuries, they've really, really improved. Partey had an outstanding season as well. It's just unreal. Trev.
It was incredible, to be honest. Sorry, Trevor.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. Yeah, Look, you see, that is why we should still be full of hope and expectation for next season, because of all the things you boys have just said. It's not a season where it's been difficult to find some pluses, without winning a trophy, which is normally difficult to do. But it's not for us. We've done okay. I agree with you totally about the transfer windows, Mark. But I always make myself feel a little bit better. Always remember what Arteta said at the very start. He'll never sign anybody that won't improve our current squad. And I'm sure he did that across this season. And it's come back to bite him firmly on the backside. But once again, in his defence, no one could have foreseen the injuries we've had this year. No one could have foreseen those. We've had so many. We've got one player fit and another two have fallen by the wayside. And I said the other night, for that reason, I think we need to be carrying at least 4 more players into next season in case that happens again. Fingers crossed, please, it doesn't, because we're going to have a full fit squad at the start of the season. And we're going to have a squad already. If they all stay fit, we'll win the Premier League. Add 2 or 3, 4 more to that, and it's looking really good for me. But Mark, listen, couple of questions before we got people queuing up to come on, mate. Couple of questions before you go. What's been your performance of the year for the Arsenal, mate?
I think the performance, I would give it Real Madrid at home. That for me, Trev, that is mind blowing. That took me back 20 years. And I felt like I had my Arsenal back at that given point. And it wasn't just Declan Rice's 2 free kicks. It was every aspect of it. We absolutely dominated Real Madrid. And if we had, even with my Arsenal hat off, if I was a neutral watching that game, if Arsenal had won that game 7-0, I don't think anyone would have complained at it. We were that outstanding. So for me, was like, we're back in the big time.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm enjoying asking that question, Mark, because I can't think of any other game I would, over 2 legs, that I could choose to be our performance of the season. I just echo everything you say. We were absolutely superb that night. You got anything for Mark, me man, Ferg?
No, I haven't, mate. But it's been really good meeting you up in Newcastle. It's always great when people come up and say they enjoy the show, and you were like, you were really enthusiastic and everything else, and it was great to get a photo and everything else together.
It was.
Myself and Trev were saying just before the show, we were at Southampton yesterday, and we had 5 or 6 people. You had Trev, and I had 3 or 4. Listen, we're not famous. We don't want to try to be famous, but it's always nice when people who watch the show come up and say to us how they enjoy, how much they enjoy the show, and the fact that we. I think most people come along and say we just do it as from a positive point of view and a fan's point of view. So yeah.
Do you know, for me and for the watchers, if I could just say that, gentlemen, before I go off, I was lucky enough this year to go to my first away game, and it was actually Preston in the Carabao Cup. That was the first away game that I went to. I'm in Scotland. I don't get the luxury of being able to hold tickets home and away. And when I went down there, it was absolutely different. It was different to online. It was different to. You just have to experience it. Any Arsenal fans watching this, just try and experience being amongst the away fans, etc. And what that petified for me was Newcastle when I met you guys, because I follow you on Twitter. I saw the flag. I saw everything that you've done with the flag, and it was a great tribute that you've done with Kevin Campbell's brother as well.
Thank you.
I loved that. I really loved that. But you epitomise everything that is correct about our fan base and everything that's correct about our club. And wholeheartedly, it was an honour to meet you guys. So I really appreciate it.
Likewise, Mark.
It was an honour to meet you, Mark, let me tell you. Sorry, Ferg, I've cut you off again.
No, you haven't. You always do it. I'm used to it.
Cut me off. It was a pleasure to meet you, Mark. And do you get down to many home games, mate?
I am at the moment. I get down to the ones I can, and I've been offered a few. I've been to a few couple of Champions League games, etc. I've got a friend that's a season ticket holder. I've been a Red member for 3 years. That's a different podcast completely. Red membership gives you nothing whatsoever. But that is a different podcast. But because of the podcast I'm in, I do get opportunities to get tickets to home games and stuff. So I had a lot of them. I've been to 7 games this season, which is fantastic. It's the most ever in my lifetime. So it was really good. But financially, and the journey is hard.
Financially, it's crippling what people do. Like Dan, a good friend of the show, Capo, has done 58 out of 58 this year, and I hate to look at his credit card statement. Jesus. Hopefully you'll get an away ticket through some contacts or whatever for Sunderland, because that's closer to home. So
yeah, 100%.
We've got a few people lined up. We've got Sam, Gary, and James lined up. Mark, can we thank you for your time and move on to the next guys?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great summer, mate.
Have a great summer, mate. Have a great
Come
summer.
on, you Gunners.
Take care, Mark.
Mate. See you later. That was brilliant, wasn't it? Next up, we got
Sam. You know.
He is. Next up, we got Sam. Sam's safely parked up in his car.
He's got a club foot. He's got a club foot. He's got a club foot.
I've been roped into an airport trip and all.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you? You all right? How was Sunday?
Yeah, good. It was good. Yeah.
What we remember of it. What we remember of it.
Boys on Sunday, to be fair.
Listen, Sam. Everyone talks about clearly the Real Madrid fixture was a highlight for every Arsenal fan. But if you were to pick, aside from that, and maybe the Tottenham away win, because again, going home and away to a lot of games like you do, that's always going to be a highlight. What was your favourite game this season, mate?
It's got to be Real Madrid, isn't it? Real Madrid at home, 3-0.
No, I said aside from Real Madrid, if you were to pick another one, because we all agree 100% with you with the Real Madrid one.
That's a massive question. Oh, he's gone now. You scared him off, look. Gone now. Oh,
are you back?
You're not driving, are you?
I'm back.
You're back.
No.
Oh, that's all right then. I thought I couldn't see the steering wheel.
So what was your favourite game aside from that one? We might have lost you. He was sitting in the background all the time as well without anything. I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's go 4 screens. And James, we'll bring you in because Gary's left his phone for a second. So James, we'll bring you in and see if
boys.
If Sam comes back. Just turn your camera the other way around, mate. It's easier to see a bit more of you.
The other way around. Oh God, don't ask me to do things on my phone.
Don't worry, just leave it as is. Leave as is then.
Just turn your phone round, James.
Yeah, one sec, right? One second. There's the phone turned around. Am I on?
No,
don't worry about it.
It don't matter.
No,
just put it back in your watch, mate.
Just put it back as
How are you, mate?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. I'm gutted that I missed the last game of the season, though. That would have been a good piss up, but the foot wouldn't allow it. Well, you're talking about my favourite game, other than the Real Madrid game. It has to be Palace away, and thank you so much for that, Trev.
Oh, me? Yeah.
What was the score of that one then, James?
Well, I'd say, what's it, 4-1 or something like that? I know we lost. I know Saka got injured, so that was a bit of a downer. But apart from that, it was a cracking day. But, you know, the away trips are just brilliant.
And you know, of the teams that have broken into Europe and stuff like that, like you've got well, not quite into Europe, but Forest have got into Europe, Bournemouth, Brighton, and so on. Who's been who's the team that stood out for you in the league?
I like the way Bournemouth play football. I do like the way Bournemouth play football. Yeah, I would say Bournemouth have a bit of a soft spot for them as well. So
I haven't. Okay. Well, apart from
you don't have a soft spot for anyone, Trev. I'm surprised you're even asking me a question about another team.
I have a soft spot for you, mate.
I have a very soft spot for you too, mate. You know that. So it's been a great season, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're disappointed because we didn't win a trophy, James. That goes without saying. That doesn't need to be said. But do you know what? I still can't find disappointment deeply inside me about the overall season when I look at the bigger picture, you know?
No, it's just a shame that, you know, we didn't score enough goals from midfield. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't think we're on the front foot as much as we were the season before.
Why do you think that is then? Where do you think the issue was in midfield then, James?
I don't know. I think Arteta was a little bit more conservative this year. He looked at the season just gone and the goals we conceded, and I think he tried to tighten it up a little bit. But
there's a graphic on here that,
but you also have to remember all the injuries and the changes we've had to make to our system, over the course of the season with all the injuries. I think we coped pretty well.
It's a good point, Ferg, in fairness,
Well, Matt today put this up, Trev. Look, last season we did 91 goals and we're second. This season we've done 69 goals. We're 22 goals down. We're 111 shots down. And, our conversion rate is 1.3% down. And some of that will be down to the injuries, Trev. Some of it will be down to the injuries, but some of them might. Do you think it's down to a more pragmatic approach by Arteta, Trev?
Oh, God, that's a question and a half. Only because
Arteta
can answer that question. You know what I mean? No, I'm not going to say it's because of a more pragmatic approach. I'm going to say it's because all of our midfield goal scorers have been injured. And then, if I'm honest, when they've come back for their injuries, they've not quite looked, for me, at the levels they were before. Odegaard, since he came back from injury, looks to me like he's still got the energy levels, but he just seems to be, his touch seems to be a little bit off. I know I stand alone with this, but I still think Saka isn't quite back from his injury. I still don't think Saka walks into any side if he's got one leg, Saka's that good. But I still don't think he's reached the levels pre-injury since he's come back. So, no, I just think I'm going to go down this road, right? And I'm going to get shouted at. I'm not going to stick with it. I just think we've been unlucky. We've been unlucky with injuries. Players haven't discovered their form when they've come back, and it's cost us. That's it for me.
Do you think, just quickly, Trev, do you think Timber and Ben White, do you think Timber has the same relationship as Saka as Ben White has as of yet? Do you think that's going to mature into something better even next year? Do you think it's going to be Timber or Ben White starting?
You've hit the nail on the head there with that right-hand side, and Fergus mentioned it quite regularly. No, I don't think we've rediscovered the connection and the form that White, Saka, and Odegaard had down that right-hand side. And they've all had big injuries, haven't they? So it's chop and change. Yeah. What I will say, though, as a caveat to that, is that I think I'm not too worried about strengthening our defence. I think what we've got when they're all fit is plenty. It really is plenty. I think we've got quality on the field and we've got quality in reserve, as has been shown this year. But, and we've got to mention him, Jacques Kivior. Everyone had doubts about him. I stood my ground. I'm going to sing my own praises here. I don't often do it. I stood my ground with him and said that he'd be all right. And I think he's been a revelation, to be honest. I really do.
But the key to that was playing him in the right position in the centre half rather than on the left. James, before we go, we had an IT specialist contact us on Twitter, and they said, just turn your phone sideways.
There you go.
There you go. I think you're going to do it before you go on.
Oh, turn it back, because that's making me go all wonky-eyed, yeah.
James, have a wonderful summer,
Have
mate.
a great summer. I can't wait to see you next year, lads. You're top boys, and you keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you, James. I love you, mate. You take care.
Cheers, guys.
We got Sam back, but we'll bring Sam in with. Hang on, I'm just going to get rid of you, James.
Sorry, that sounds awful, Fergus.
I know it does. It does. We're going to bring Sam and Gary in.
Sounds awful. Gary's in.
It does. We're going to bring Sam and Gary in. Gary, you need to go on mute because I can hear myself, and that's lovely. Gary, you need to go on mute because I can hear myself, and that's
what's happening there.
I don't know. Who is it?
Hey, guy.
It is Gary, I think.
It is Gary. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Sam, briefly, finish up what you were saying, mate, about favourite game aside from the Real Madrid game.
Oh, it's got to be City at home, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to line you up to that because quite a few people were saying the same thing.
I couldn't
5-1.
hear what you said properly because I've had to move spots. I'm actually in a car park in a minute waiting for my missus, but yeah, so I just had to move spots so I can get a signal again.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Trev,
it's got to be City at home, innit?
What's that? Sorry?
It's got to be City at home, innit?
It has been City at home.
Of course
And listen, David Raya has been outstanding. There's been a couple of shaky moments in the season, but any keeper, I think, is going to have some shaky moments. But if you were to look back and think of a moment where he stood out the best to you, when would you say? Because we had Setford at Preston, but otherwise it's been David Raya the whole way, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Raya's been. It's not really been many games you can sort of say he's had shaky ones, to be honest. I think just as a goalkeeper in general, if you look at his all-round ability, like he catches balls, most of the time he's a very good stopper of the ball. Only thing that my criticism is with his penalties, he keeps diving too early for them. But yeah, bar that, I think, I'm trying to think of a standout game really. You know what I mean? He's not really had a bad game. If you could think in your head what game he's really had a bad one, to be honest. You know what I mean?
I liked his game away at Atalanta when he made the double save from that penalty.
Probably up there. You know, he's made quite a lot, to be honest. I mean, how many games we've said where he's made a top save and that and everything, you know, and he's one of them keepers. He does sort of if he catches a ball sank in midair and he gives the team a bit of a break and that as well, you know. But, I think you've hit it now on the head, Trev. I think Atalanta away.
Yeah. Well, mate, say hello to Ocean for us if you're picking up from the airport. It's been brilliant sharing the season with you, mate. And look forward to our rendezvous in July. It should be good. Have a wonderful one, mate.
Go to look and see you boys Sunday, but yeah, like always, what a season it's been. Thank you for some really special moments and
plastic.
You know, just being no, just being top mates and top blokes. You know what I mean? So yeah, looking forward to seeing you boys in July.
All right, mate. We'll let you go. We'll let you go and pick up the wife, and we'll chat to you in a week. Yeah, all right. Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
Ferg, listen, Ferg. Just before we move on to Gary, I'm sorry, Gary. Just seen some breaking news coming out of Liverpool that a car has driven into a crowd or hit some people in the crowd, and we don't. That's breaking news. That's all we know so far. So we're not going to speculate or do anything like that. We're just going to say we hope that all them people in Liverpool are okay, and our thoughts are with them at the moment. That everything's all right.
Yeah. Jason, you were in the room a minute ago. If you want to jump back in again, we'll bring you on in a second. But we got Gary here now. Gary, how you doing, mate?
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello, boys.
You got the new shirt on?
Yes.
With the proper badges?
It's sorted the issue out, so it's all good.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they do with the old ones? Did they take them off you?
Hey, what's that, Trev?
The old shirts, the shirts that they're printing the wrong badge on.
No, I ended up sorting it myself. I bought the badges myself, and I got a mate with a heat press to do it. Because Arsenal are still printing the wrong shirts, even now.
Oh, God, blimey.
Yeah,
that's no good. See, I just want to tell people, Ferg, right? Just want to tell people that the young fans are the lifeblood of our club, right? The kids that come along to the football now are the football fans of the future, and they're very important. And Gary, I admire you, mate. Your boy comes everywhere with you, doesn't he?
I try and get him out as much as I can. It's hard. It is hard because it's expensive. I mean, I've only got the one season ticket, but I'm going to hopefully get him to a lot more next season. So, yeah, no, he's a good lad. Very proud of him. Going through and through.
Yeah, I'm sure
he's part of the Sunburton army rather than the Dadburton army, isn't he? I tell you what, we talked about some of the positives. Some of the reasons that Arsenal haven't achieved what they wanted to do this season was we've drawn too many games, but also there's been issues with some people try, and some of the media outlets said a disciplinary issue. We had 5 red cards, I think, this season. One was overturned, and at least 3 of the others were extremely suspect. What's your thoughts on the officiating this season? And
You can already tell by my face here exactly.
What was your thoughts on the officiating? And do you think it's been fair for all concerned, of all 20 teams in the league?
Look, 100%. I'm convinced there's been an absolute agenda against us this season. I'm absolutely convinced by it. We've seen decisions go against us, sending offs. First, in all the years I've liked football, first time I've seen these decisions, and they've happened to have been against us. I know Trev feels very strongly on the old PGML and that, and I'm with Trev all the way on that. I think some of the officiating this season, not just for Arsenal, but as you say, across as well, has been very dubious. But I can't help but feel that we've really, really had the rough end of the stick this season for whatever reason.
Trevor?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I keep trying to think in my head that they're not focusing on us in particular. I keep getting in my head, but it is hard. As Gary says, a lot of the decisions that have gobsmacked us this season or surprised us have only happened to us. You know, Declan Rice tapped the ball away.
Yeah, Brighton.
Call it what you call it, petulant if you want, right? But the referee standing there shrugging his shoulders and saying, "You give me no choice." It must have happened 1,000 times. I watched Match of the Day today, and it's happened another half a dozen times. You know, players kick the ball away in every game. For some reason, the referee chose to make an example of Declan Rice, and it's not happened again since. You know, the same with the Saliba one at Bournemouth. It was shocking, absolutely shocking decision.
Yeah.
And yeah, it only seems to happen to the Arsenal. Having said that, that one yesterday with Villa, with the goalkeeper not having control of the ball, I'm sort of pleased that happened in a way, right? Not pleased because it cost Villa possibly the game. Villa, in fact, have my every sympathy. But I'm glad because it's kept the low standard of officiating right in the limelight, right at the forefront now, right at the last game of the season. They've now got the whole summer to come up with a structured action plan that they can present to football clubs and just as importantly us fans and say, yeah, this is where we see we've been weak. This is where we're going to try and progress. This is the actions we've taken during the summer to try and improve the levels of our referees. And then we've got to look at it and say, okay, let's see how that goes. But you know what'll happen? They won't. Because they answer to nobody. They answer to nobody, and it's frustrating. How did we get on to bloody referees anyway? Gary, listen, Gary, tell me something, right? Tell me something right now. And I like this question. I'm going to stick with it. 3 teams come up, Sunderland, Burnley or Leeds. How many stay up? How many go down again? Because it's a pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, there's definitely a pattern emerging there. I think the teams that are coming up now are finding it incredibly difficult to stay in the Premier League. I mean, I'll go with what Dale was saying, and I agree with him. I think Leeds are probably the best equipped to stay up, but I don't hold any hope for Burnley whatsoever or Sunderland. Like I say, financially, and I mean, I read today that apparently, what's his name, Joe Bellingham, he's going off back to Germany. He's going to Germany to carry on over there, try and follow in the footsteps of his big brother. So they're going to be losing him. He's been quite influential for Sunderland last season.
Does that mean he's going to be really successful in Germany, play for England, and be a flop?
Potentially,
Okay, just
potentially.
checking.
But he's. I know there's 3 over there that are all talking to him at the moment. I think it's Frankfurt, Dortmund, and Leipzig all talking to him. And I think he's seeing that route. He's seen what his big brother's done. He wants to go down that route. So, but no, I don't see any hope for them two coming up. I think they're both going to struggle, and that'd be them. Leeds potentially. They've got the equipment there to stay up. So. We'll see. I'll be honest with you. I don't really care, to tell the truth. I just want Arsenal to win something next season. I'm getting desperate now.
I like what Danny's just said. Leeds stay up, Spurs go down.
Oh well, I mean, what's that stat today that Spurs have had the most losses over a season and not been relegated?
22 games. It's unreal.
Uh,
And you know what? The only reason is because Southampton, Ipswich, and who's that? Leicester were just so poor.
So
but
poor.
do you realise? I think they've been beaten by all 3 of the relegated sides. Definitely 2 of them at home.
Yeah, I know. And the fact they are where they are next season, I'm sorry, to me it's an absolute joke.
That's a good interlude into the next question. I was going to say to you, Champions League format. What do you think of it?
No, I think the moment that they stop allowing the Champions League teams to drop down into the Europa League, for me personally, I think that should have then maybe stopped the route into the Champions League as well. Now, the fact that they finish where they finish, and I will just cut up because I don't even like saying their name. The fact they have finished where they finish and they're going to play in the Champions League next season is an absolute joke. It really is, and I just can't get my head around it. They should be made to defend that trophy at best. No way should be up that they're a European elite competing next season. Not a chance.
I
Trev,
love the way Gary put that. Then perfect in that. Yeah, if you're going to take away the Champions League teams dropping into the Europa League, then take away the route for the Europa League to come into the Champions League. I find it a bit frustrating, to be honest. I find it a bit embarrassing for UEFA when they're calling the competition the Champions League, Gary, and they've got a team that lost 22 games this season in it. And we can dwell on. I can say that name. I have no problem with it, Gary. We can dwell on Tottenham for a few seconds, because I mean, Postecoglou's words, right? Postecoglou's words, and I've called Postecoglou out much earlier in the season for being not a very good coach, not a very good manager, and I stand by that, right? I absolutely stand by it. But Postecoglou's words over the last few days have been that an outstanding season has been mentioned, and the third season is better than the second. Well, to be honest, if you've got a coach, they saying that winning a second-rate trophy is an outstanding season, then Tottenham fans need to be really worried. Really, really, really worried. And the third season is better than the second? Well, it needs to be, doesn't it? Because if it gets any worse, they're gone. They're gone, Ferg.
Yeah, they'll be cancelled. Exactly. They won't be brought on for a fourth, will they? Somebody ITV or BBC or Sky needs or Netflix even has to have a word with them. Like, if your third season is as crap as your second, that's it. You don't get renewed again.
I mean, you look at the final. The final was I watched it. It was a horrible watch. It was literally. I'm not over exaggerating it, but I've seen better games in non-league sometimes. I really have. It was 2 very, very, very poor teams against each other in that final, and it just stood out like a sore thumb, the level that they're both at the moment.
Yeah.
So before we're going to ask you the next question, I'm just going to bring up the pool that we got for now and what pot we're in and everything else. But before I do that, there is still some space. We've got some time still. If anybody does want to join us, go to YouTube. Click on the comments, you'll see a link. And also on Trevor, if you're watching on Hillsy's Twitter link or X link, you'll see a comment in there by me, which will give you a link to the show, and also on my one as well. So do click on and join us and have your say. But this is the pot. We are in pot 2. Sorry, it's really small. So you've got in pot 1, you've got Real Madrid, City, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, PSG, Inter, Chelsea, Dortmund, Barcelona. We're in pot. Go on.
Explain. I'm genuinely. I need you to explain. Why do we have pots when it's just a big league?
because I was really confused. I was in Liverpool. No, I was in Manchester last year when they were drawing these, and they draw pot one. So Real Madrid will get drawn out, and then they'll pick somebody from 2, 3, and 4. Then they'll get Man City and pick somebody from 2, 3, and 4. So it's who you play in your league.
Oh, right.
I think.
Yeah.
And then I think there's two in. So 2 pot ones in pot. Yeah, there'll be 2 of pot ones, 2 of pot twos, and 2 pot threes of who you can play. And then it's just the way who you're drawn against, and you end up playing 8 games.
So we ain't got much option really in pot one, have we? Because we can't play our own country.
Initially, so we got Real Madrid, we got Bayern Munich, PSG, Inter, Dortmund, and Barcelona.
Oh,
well, and we're going to play
Barca, please.
Dortmund and Barca would be the 2. Then when we go into our own league again, I don't think we can play UK ones. Leverkusen, Atletico, Benfica, Atlanta, Villarreal, Juventus, Eintracht, Frankfurt, and Bruges. Well, Frankfurt and Bruges would be nice close ones, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Someone just put. I've lost it. Where's that comment gone?
I don't know. Hang on. Let me go.
Here it is. You get seeded. You get 2 from each and 1 from your own group. So, but that's only 7.
Trev, honestly,
Barry, I'm not trying to be fault with you,
no,
man.
That's fine, mate.
I know.
I get confused with it all as well.
Yeah, I'm Irish, so I've got an excuse.
I don't agree with. I think you're picking on Irish people there. I just think you're just Fergus.
I just think, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Right, listen, Ferg, I'm cutting in again. I'm sorry.
Go on, no, far away.
We've been going for nearly an hour now, right, Ferg? We've got over 500 people looking at this screen. It's like, as it's set up now, it's like a rose between 2 thorns, isn't it? You know what I mean? Me sitting in between you two. 500 people watching. Thank you very much. Somebody click on the link.
There we go.
Somebody click on the link and come and see us. Come and say hello. I noticed you didn't put yourself in the middle there, Ferg, because that was a definite no-go from the start, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
Right, I've got my Woodbine Gooners shirt on.
He's got his special badge on.
Special badge, yeah. That's not baby on board either, Gary, is it? Although one might question it.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that, Ferg. Bloody Nora.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can I ask Gary another question? And I'll ask you, Ferg. You've not answered any questions yet. You keep chucking them at me, right? I'm expecting a certain answer here, right? But our most improved player this season, Ferg.
It's not improved because he's fresh on the scene for me. It's Lewis Skelly, but I'm just trying to think in the squad. Kiwior's got to be up there with a shout, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. He's had a run of 8 or 10 games, and from everybody he's got to go out the door to everyone going, "Oh no, we got to keep him." I think Kiwior's got to be up there with a shout. It's really difficult because some of the key players have been out injured, like Ben White, who's a great player and key to where we are on that right-hand side. Odegaard and Saka together, which I've said all season. He was out for more or less the whole season. Saka was out for a third of the season. Odegaard's been out for a third of the season. Declan Rice, there's got to be a shadow for Declan Rice. Declan Rice at Christmas looked a shadow of himself. He looked really ill. And he looked like he was really struggling. And you see the way Declan Rice is at the end of the season. He's a man mountain. I know we got a captain in Odegaard and several captains around the squad, but the man leads. He leads from the front. He drags everybody with him.
Yeah.
Lewis, it's hard, Trev. It's hard. But I'd probably say Rice. Maybe he's grown from where he was 2 years ago.
The thing with Declan Rice as well is I know. Like listening to the other players and that, they all say what a great leader Odegaard is in the dressing room. And obviously, as fans, we don't see that. But on the pitch, the most vocal, the ones that I always see that he's trying to grab the team by the scruff of the neck or he's pointing things out and having a go is Declan Rice. And that's what we see with our eyes. I'm not putting Odegaard down as a captain. He's probably a brilliant captain behind the scenes, but I don't see that on the pitch. I see it more from Declan. Minds me sort of the way he pulls people up, and that is how Tony Adams used to do it back in the day. How you used to see Tony Adams getting angry with players on the pitch and that, and you see that with when Partey got the booking, and Rice turned around and said to him, what you doing? You look like, and I see that more from Declan Rice. I'm not saying I'm not going to get into the whole captain argument, but I do see a leader on the pitch in Declan Rice.
Yeah, interesting. See, mine, interesting, Gary. Yeah, I've left Skelly out because it's a breakthrough season for Skelly. Rice, picking up from what you guys said, Rice was already super good already. You know what I mean? Yeah, he has come on this season, in my view. But for me, it's one or two, right? One or two. Kivior, who we've already mentioned, who's been outstanding at a time when he was right up in the limelight, right up in the spotlight, and he could have folded under the nerves or the pressure or whatever, and he's just shone through. But the other one that deserves a mention, right? The other one that deserves a mention is Mikel Merino.
Mikel Merino.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
I've sung his praises for the last couple of 3 months, and what he's done for this club this season, how he's filled in where he has, and you've seen him improving that position, for me, is outstanding. And I think he's right up there for me, player of the season. And there's a lot of argument to be had about that, I know, but for me, I would give Merino the player of the season tomorrow. I really think he's done that well for us.
I mean, for a player that's never, ever played striker in his career, ever. I think he come out and said himself the only time he ever played as a striker when he was about 8 in youth football.
Yeah, he was. He was a kid. He wasn't even in professional football. I think he played as a striker on the streets of wherever he was in Spain or whatever. But
to come in and do what he did, obviously when Havertz went injured and that, and we're all looking at each other thinking, Christ, now where's the goals going to come from? And to come in and do the job he's done.
Yeah.
Trev, are you looking at best newcomer? Are you looking at Lewis Skelly or Nwaneri?
Oh, look, right. I feel for Nwaneri. I really feel for Nwaneri this season because he was the name that we were all shouting about. He was the name that we were all, that was the first one that came out when you asked about what we had coming through. But Nwaneri has had to try and fight his way into the team in a position where we've got some really good players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Nwaneri's time will come. His time will come. Skelly, his name wasn't mentioned a lot. He wasn't pushed. He wasn't given the high profile. And then he's come in the side and he's been like this wonder kid. He's not an overstatement. Absolutely superb. His attitude, his energy levels, his strength. When he runs with the ball, it's like the ball's tied to his foot, He really is a very, very special player. And what we've got to hope next season is that the referees leave him alone a bit, because I think that towards the end of the season, they were thinking, Skelly's got the ball, something will happen, I'm watching him. And I think the referees need to leave him alone a bit. And then what really plays in my mind, and Gary or either of you can answer this right, is that for a player with those on the ball skill levels, take everything else out of it, but when he runs with that ball on his foot, people can't get it off him, right? And I'm wondering, in my head, is left back the right position for a player with those qualities? I genuinely am.
I think he'd be pushed up into centre mid alongside Zubimendi. And I think that if we do sign Partey for another year with a year plus, if that happens, he'll be dropped out in some games, and Lewis Skelly will go up there. Gary, we're going to let you go because we've got Demsek in the background. It's been brilliant having you on. It's been brilliant sharing the season with you, mate. It's been brilliant having a few pints in the ever famous Woodbine. Look forward to seeing you next season, mate.
I just want to say, just thanks for the season, boys. Getting to know you boys more over the course of the season, and that great bunch of lads, and you'll be seeing a lot more of me next season, and keep getting to know each other a bit better.
Brilliant,
Gary.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
have a wonderful...
as long as Trev takes his top off a lot more. I love his belly. It's brilliant.
Let's not mention
it. you know what they call it, derby games, don't you?
Oh lordy, right.
Gary,
boys. Summer, son.
See you, mate. Cheers.
Yeah,
Bye.
see you next
Bye,
season.
Gary.
See you later, mate.
Bye. Kevin Demsek, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, guys. Can you hear me? Because
We
I'm on
can
a
hear you
new.
loud and clear.
Right, okay, because on a new laptop, I'm trying to find where everything is. It looked a little bit strange to me for a moment there, and I thought, well, you got 500 watching. An idiot might as well come on, so I've come on.
You might as well. If you're going to make a fool of yourself, why not do it over nearly 1,000 people?
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
And I am
it's
an
nearly,
idiot, that's for sure.
it's nearly 600. Well, listen, I do it every week, so twice a week.
Yeah,
Do you know what, Kev? Firstly, we should thank you, mate, because you're a massive supporter of this show. Always commenting and putting some. Not only do you put great comments and sensible comments, if I'm honest, you often sow the seed in my mind that helps me move the conversation on, mate. And that's just how it should be. So, thank you very much for that, mate.
thank you.
Fergie, you asking a question or?
Yeah, I've got one because we talked about David Raya earlier on, and I'm hoping you're thinking about the same performance that I'm thinking of. Where do you think David Raya? Because you're a man who seems to know your facts a little bit more than maybe me and many others. Where do you think his best performance was this
Right.
season?
Raya's best performance is probably, and if he was to ask Raya, he would say his last performance. Because it's that mentality, isn't it? It's the
Ooh, that's a clever.
you've
That's a
got to
clever
move
answer.
on. You've got to be better than what you was before. So so while these double saves always stand out, I think his best performances are when he's stood there doing basically nothing, and
To be honest,
then has to kick in.
mentally for a keeper, that's the hardest thing, and
Yeah,
that's what
it is. Yeah,
Ramsdale said.
shot himself
Uh,
in the foot.
Yeah, shot himself in the foot by saying he loses concentration. For me, Trevor, I was thinking that the two double saves in the first half against Newcastle at our
Yeah, they're
place.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But then, sorry, Trevor, I'm jumping in.
Go
But
for
then
it. Go for it.
at Southampton, sorry, then at Southampton, if he'd have had a very poor game and he won't be happy he's let a goal's gone in, that double save's forgotten.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, that goalkeeper's perspective, that
No, I think you're right,
I'm only as
Kev.
good as the last game.
I think you're right, Kevin. That the thing is with goalkeepers is every player makes mistakes, but the goalkeepers ones always stand out, don't they? And
Yeah,
apart from once when he had the ball at his foot and he gave it away this season, I can't remember anything else that stands out as being a massive error. And that gives me confidence. That makes me think, yeah, that's all right,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And the two big advantages Raya has currently, particularly over Ramsdale or any number two that's going to come in, is he catches the ball, which retains possession, and his kicking ability. And a lot
Yes.
of the times, you talk about tactics earlier, in a lot of games, we've gone long and cut the midfield out because Raya's been kicking the ball.
Why do you think we've cut the midfield out? Is it because of some of the injuries we had? Is it because of like I was going to come to the midfield and say who was your best midfield performance, and what is the problem with Odegaard this season?
Right. So I don't
two
think
questions in there,
midfield's
isn't there?
quite been. Yeah, there's two questions in there. I can't remember. You said something like we'd had 18 different back fours, something
Yeah.
like that in one of the pods. But we've had a similar sort of rotation in midfield, or we've had players coming back from injury. Even Rice has been playing injured. So I think maybe Arteta's not had quite the confidence that he's had in the midfield that we had in before, knowing that players aren't at their best. And sometimes you could take teams are expecting you to build from the back and have possession, but then all of a sudden you go long and you're pushing the defence back, and that also makes me worried about the low block that we've been getting. And then what was your second question, Fergus, about midfield?
Yeah, like where would you what's the best midfield combination? And because clearly the Odegaard thing hasn't been working right. What do you feel the issue has been with Odegaard. They talk about
Right,
fitness.
the
They
best
talk about
midfield.
God.
Right, currently, presuming Odegaard's back to his best, the best midfield combination is currently Odegaard, Partey, Rice as the box-to-box 8. Rice is no longer a defensive mid for me.
No, I agree.
In the Arsenal setup, he's not good enough. Right, he's an attacking. So future I'm anticipating to see Mendy, I've gone Zubimendi, sorry, Rice and Odegaard.
Did you hear what
But
we said
what I
earlier
also
about?
noticed,
Sorry, go
and I
on.
did
Go.
mention a comment in, I keep dropping, I've gone in the conservatory. For some reason, my Wi-Fi is not real. I want to see Ethan work more in that Odegaard role because Southampton kept nicking the ball off him. So he's been used as a Saka backup because we've had no backup. And I don't necessarily think his skill set's been embedded enough at first team level to be that creative mid. And he needs time to build that. And I'm not having a go at Ethan. He's a young lad. It's all about development. So for me, I think I'd like to see Arteta, right, you're now going to be back up to Odegaard. I want you to build on those skills. Ball possession, looking for that pass. Because when he gets that ball on the wing, it's almost like Saka part two. Cutting in, looking for the shot. So, yeah, but that depends on where ultimately Arteta sees him play. We could get another attacking mid in.
Did you hear what we said earlier about Miles Lewis-Skelly? Could you see him being promoted into the midfield from left back?
No. I think Arteta will keep him as a left back, inverting left back.
Okay.
I don't see him
that's an
coming
important
into
word.
midfield. Arteta's had chance, knowing that Miles is a defensive mid, to do that, and has kept him at left back.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Simon's put a comment up here, and absolutely I relate to it. Our play this season, we do seem to be playing slower, and our penetration from the midfield hasn't been the same. And everyone keeps mentioning the low block stops us. But over the course of this season, should we have learned how to play against this low block? Because that's the weapon teams use against us. And I don't know why we've not learned how to play around it or to play through it, to be honest.
Well, last season, January onwards, let's take from that point on, we were actually breaking the low block because we had one player that came really into form and ended up being a striker who's not in the team. And we had an informed Odegaard who was people lambast Havertz, right? But what I urge people to do, right, is instead of judging Havertz on putting the ball in the net, judge him on what he does on the pitch, where he runs, who runs into the spaces that he creates, how many defenders he takes with him, what he does when we're taking crosses and he's at the front post. So I think,
Havertz is going to be it's going to be very interesting next season because, from my perspective, we look a better side with Havertz in the team for exactly the reasons you've just said.
Yeah.
But what happens if we sign an out-and-out striker, which we all hope this summer? How does Havertz fit in around that then for you, mate?
Well, I think he potentially becomes a second striker. I can't see this happening. I think Jesus has been brilliant for the club, helped us to get to where we are now. But it's time the team's evolved past him. Is becoming quite injury prone. So I personally would like to see Jesus either move on or become Saka's number 2, which I know is why he left Man City. He didn't want to play on the wing, but he can play the wing. Right, then Havertz becomes the second striker, but could also cover for midfield.
Yeah, I don't think that Jesus should be a starter every week for us. I really don't. As you say, he's a nice backup. Something we've lacked this season: backup players. And I'm as certain as I can be, without knowing for sure, that we've been playing players who are not 100% fit most of this season,
Yeah.
right? Because we've had no other options. And
Yeah.
people can say it's an excuse. Yeah, so maybe it is an excuse. But for me, it's a fact that our players, and they're not looking quite as good as they should do. Ferg, now you're suitably relieved, my son.
It's not.
The
No,
other key thing,
I was just replenishing.
another key thing that you said earlier, Trev, is when we're judging players, we need to make sure we judge them on the position that they naturally play. So Kivior got lambasted last season because he played as a left back and he's a centre back. I'm seeing it with
100%.
Calafiori. Calafiori is a centre back who can play left back. And again, Calafiori's getting
Kieran Tierney was
lambasted.
a centre half who can play left back as
Yeah.
well, and he can play an
Yeah.
inverted role, which is what Arteta wanted our left back to always play, and his fitness issues. Listen, we'll keep you on for a bit longer, but if anybody else does want to join, just click on the link. How did you do it? Did you do it via Twitter, or did you do it via the YouTube?
No, via YouTube. I'm usually on YouTube.
Yeah, you
but
just
the
click
link in the description just took me to a paid subscription something or other, and I had to troll through chat and get the link.
Okay, well, I will stick the link back in the chat just now. So if anybody does want to join us, they can. What was your? Did you do the Trevor? Did you ask the question you asked the other? Was Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds? Have you done that one?
No, I haven't asked them to that. No, I haven't. No.
So
sadly,
who
I
stays
can
up?
see all three going back down.
Okay.
I think the gulf is so big now.
Yeah.
Kev,
I can't agree with you there, because if all three go back down, how are we going to fit in Tottenham going down as well, Kev? Come on, son.
Well, sadly, they'll have an unusual catastrophic season, right? And whatever I say is always wrong. Hence, I very rarely predict an Arsenal result. Have you noticed? Because I always take the reverse, and they'll end up getting relegated. Maybe they'll do a Hull. Maybe they'll win the FA Cup but get relegated.
Yeah,
I think
who
it was
knows?
Hull.
Yeah.
Or was it Wigan?
Nice.
It was Wigan. Wigan won the FA Cup, didn't
Wigan.
they? And got relegated.
Yeah, it was Wigan. Yeah, and went.
Yeah, Wigan. Now I remember.
What do you make of this Champions League format? And can you figure out how these various pots work then?
Can you see my confused face? I have no idea whatsoever.
Yeah,
I did put in chat earlier on. I said I think it's something to do with seeding, and my brain was saying now somewhere along the line, teams from the same country can't play each other, which is particularly difficult now because of this idiocy that the winner of the Europa League can go into the Champions League. The Premier League now has 6 teams, is it, in the Champions League, right? So how are they going to work that one out?
And you know what's even more ridiculous? You know what's even more ridiculous?
Sorry,
you know what's even more ridiculous, Trev? Chelsea are in the final of the Europa Conference League. Should Chelsea win the Europa Conference League, they would naturally get promoted into the Europa
League.
Yeah, but they've already qualified.
Does that mean
for
Villa
the
don't get it?
No, they've already qualified. I don't know what that does to Villa. I assume Villa wouldn't get it then.
No, they would.
They've already
Chelsea won't be in the Europa. Chelsea are in the Champions League.
They're in the qualifying rounds of the Champions League, so they have the choice to choose which competition they want to be in. What are you going to do? It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, look, right. It's
no. I thought. Go on, Sharp. Sorry.
I'm just going to try and put it out of my head, to be honest. But what I will say is that I had massive doubts about their new system for the Champions League this season, the league and all that. But if I'm honest, I have to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed the fact that there were many more important games in the last round of games than there has been before. But Kev, how was it for you, this new system?
Confusing. I mean, I don't get too many away games. I think, I went to one, which was last season. Don't
Yeah, we
get
saw
to
you
many
there, didn't
home
we?
games either. But yeah, like I said earlier on, I think it's confusing. I think I actually preferred the old system. I just think it's very stressful for fans and the players. There's that many games now, you know. And the other silent thing we need to that this league links into: how many different providers have we got to purchase to watch these games this now? So you've got Sky, TNT, Amazon. Where's it
Yeah.
going next?
Well, Amazon won't have any next year. Sky are taking over. Premier League wise, 215 games out of 100. I think there's 165. Some will be picked up by TNT. There's not going to be many games at 3:00 on a Saturday because they can't show them. There'll be half a dozen games, a month shown at 3:00 on a Saturday. Demsek, it's been wonderful having you on.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us every time in the chat and ringing in and phoning in, videoing in, whatever we call it. Have a wonderful summer, mate, and hopefully we see you. Well, we were hoping to. I hope we were going to reenact Sheffield, that hotel lobby in Sheffield. But
well, I'm hoping to do that at some point. But just to give another context, I'm going to go with my wife, and we go in the disability section.
Correct, yeah.
Up with the deaf and neurodiverse, which is clock end. Can you have a word with the team as well to make sure they score more the first half when we're playing towards the clock end and not damn North Bank?
Yeah, I think you have to do a word with the Ashburton Army. I think they have to do a better effort because the North Bank is just like a bit louder, you know.
Been lovely talking to you, Kev.
And you.
Hopefully see you next season, mate, and have a lovely summer, pal.
Yeah, and you.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Cheers, bye.
Mate. Cheers, mate. Ferg, this question's just popped up, right? And it's another question with signings, mate, that are going to crop up. You know, I just said Marino is possibly our best player of the season. Yeah, absolutely. So with Zubimendi and a striker coming in, where do you see him playing next season? Marino.
Well, I think Marino was recruited originally to be that 8 that Declan Rice has been to fill the boots of Granit Xhaka. So one might think maybe there's going to be a change in formation because but also we've said already we need depth. We need 2 players, 3 players, and people fighting for positions within the squad. We can't be losing Bukayo Saka and then thinking, oh my God, we got nobody to play for him. Okay, we did get Wanyeri, but as Demsek said, he's not necessarily ideally ready for that position yet, for him or for the Odegaard position. But he can cover both. But Simon says, we rotate depending on the opponent. And if we're in the Champions League, we'd like to be thinking that we can fight on all 4 fronts. We haven't had the ability to fight on all 4 fronts over the last few years. And I think that's where Marino and other players fill the boots for us.
Yeah, agree. And yeah, absolutely, Frank. And I feel a bit for Marino because he's not been given a chance to develop this season in the position we signed him for. He's had to play out of position, so he gets next season as a freebie for me when he plays. Marino gets next season as a freebie. Let him drop into the position he what we signed him for, and see how it goes. This has just been thrown off my stride a little bit by this lovely comment from Lyle, and Lyle's exactly right, Ferg. We do have to mention, your beautiful wife, my beautiful wife.
Well, read out the comment because people on audio don't see it. So not sure.
Lyle's just said, not sure if it's been said, but we need to give a massive shout out to all our amazing partners who allow us to go to football and support us through the highs and lows of the season. Ferg, he's absolutely nailed it. Absolutely.
And do podcasts. Spend half a day prepping for them like you did on Friday. You spent about 3 hours prepping for the one on Friday. And you understood what it's like then as well. But it is huge. What our families sacrifice to allow us to do what we love to do it is a really, really kind thing for them to do to us, to enjoy, for us to enjoy our passion.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some great partners, and I mean, I speak personally. My missus is amazing, and I love her dearly. Although some nights when she's got the hump with me, she does say to me, "Are you doing a podcast tonight?" And I say, "No, not tonight, sweetheart." And she says, "Oh, bloody shame." You know what I mean? Because she wasn't out of the room for an hour. But no, lovely.
Well,
Yeah.
yesterday, what time did you leave at yesterday?
I left home at 7 o'clock yesterday morning, was into Southampton for 11.
11, yeah.
I went in this cafe across the road from my hotel and ordered just a breakfast, please. And it was the biggest plate of food I've had in years. And I ate the lot. And then,
Greedy bastard.
Then I stayed the night last night in Southampton because I'm too old to do that 4-hour drive each way. And drove back today, and I'm absolutely shattered. And my wife's done dinners for me today. She made me cups of tea. She's an absolute angel. And Barry, you're absolutely right, mate. Yeah, sometimes they are glad to see the back of us. You know, you can get too much of a good thing, Barry. You know what I mean?
Trevor, 587, nearly 600 people watching.
I know.
I don't think we can go on much longer with the phone in side of things, but it's been brilliant for everybody who has joined us tonight and throughout the season. We've done the 2 shows a week for most of the season. You came up with the Friday night concept, which is a poor planning. That's my Friday night is mine, where I used to take the wife to the pub and have a takeaway.
Well,
I'll leave it there. Yeah.
I like doing it without you anyway. So yeah, you carry on going to the pub and
yeah, I go to the pub anyway, but you know me. It's been absolutely brilliant. You're off on holidays in tomorrow, is it? Tomorrow, the next day?
No, not a week today. We go across to dump the dog at the mother-in-law's, and then a week tomorrow we're off to sunny Greece for 3 weeks, and I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it. To be honest with you, Ferg. Feet up, tats out, sunburn, beautiful.
You know he will. I'm off to Germany on Thursday to complete the celebration of my daughter's wedding. We're having a German wedding reception over there, and I come back. I'm going. There's my son, my wife, and I. We're going to stop in Dortmund on Thursday and Monday. So if anyone has any good ideas of what to do in Dortmund, beer and food wise, I'm not interested in going to see the stadium because a wife and that was with us. Do drop us a tweet or something like that and let us know. For all the people who picked us up on Twitter this year, thanks very much. It's been brilliant having all of you guys following and watching our shows and joining in with the comments. Do jump over to YouTube if you could and just give us a like and subscribe. It helps our egos more than anything else. It doesn't help our pockets, but it does help our egos. And we just love doing it. And we were spoken. I'm going to be careful how I do this. We were spoken to by somebody yesterday, Trev, somebody who's as dedicated as Dan is, but for many more years of football. And what did he say to us about? What he said he watched the podcast, and it took us both by surprise.
I don't think it's wrong to mention his name actually, because Frank Stubbsy, he's been an Arsenal fan for many years. Never misses a game, travels everywhere, and but he's a very level-headed person. Stubbsy. He writes a blog every week after the games, Ferg, and
he does.
We
I'll
read
them
and share it. It's always a great read, but. He paid us a compliment yesterday, and amongst others, there was others that came up to us yesterday and said, "Thank you for what you do. We enjoy it." And yes, so thank you to Stubbsy. Thank you to all you other people that have said that you enjoy what we do. And Ferg nailed it just now in that we just do it because we like talking about the Arsenal, and you people come along for the ride. It's amazing. I love it. I love doing this.
Should I do it?
Yeah, press that button.
Press that button.
I forgot to say, Ferg. I forgot to say, Charlotte and her mum came up to me again yesterday and said, thank you for mentioning them, as I did. And I got her name right, Ferg. I was over the moon. I had a little dance of celebration. I got her name right. Have a lovely summer, Charlotte.
Did I get a thumbs up for not saying the with that lot?
Yeah. Well, she never mentioned it, actually, so it must have been okay. Yeah. Bearing in mind, I had a skinful of beer again yesterday, which is so unusual for me.
So unusual for you. So unusual for you. Hey, listen, Danny's coming there. Brilliant. Glad we can help somebody out. And we all need to find a happy place. And if we've got helped you to get a happy place, Danny, I'm absolutely delighted for you. Thank you.
Here. Absolutely here. And remember, picking up on what Danny says, it's always someone that will listen, whether it be in person, whether it be on email, whether it be social media. There's always somebody that will listen. Ferg, listen, right? I know you're we're gonna have a break now, aren't we, for a few weeks? But
yeah,
I've got some ideas for a couple of specials during the summer, which we'll probably do. So keep an eye on social media if you're interested, people.
He's just landed that on me, by the way. But carry on, yeah.
Well, no, we did tell you about it. We've got Mark and Andy, the two historians that are forever putting us in our place with their wonderful knowledge of our football club. We're going to try and get them on again and do a bit of stuff with them. Their knowledge is second to none, and I'm looking forward to that. But massively, I'm looking forward to the next 3 weeks with my feet up, Ferg, not having to travel. Well, no, I'm going to miss it, but it is a lot of travelling, and I do get knackered. And my wife deserves me to be at home a bit more, although she may say differently.
Trevor, before we go, a special mention to Jorginho and Kieran Tierney. Thank you for what you did for the club. You've been, not always a part of the squad, but you've done your things on and off the pitch for us. This flag has done more for the team up and down and around Europe. Lyle and Kirk and you and me and Dan there, and even the bod. The bod.
Lordy. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that indeed. Listen, right, that photo is funny. It looks like it's photoshopped, that photo of us all with a flag, doesn't it? But I can guarantee you that it most definitely wasn't photoshopped. It was the end of a great day yesterday with great people. Ferg, I'm ready for you to finish.
I'm done.
I'm knackered. I'm done. I'm going to bed now. I've got to walk out my door, turn left, turn right, and I'm in my bedroom and I'm going to hit the sack. That's it. I'm done now.
Listen, we call ourselves Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Our tagline is by Arsenal fans, for Arsenal fans. Hopefully after the last 1 hour and 32 minutes, after the last season, you realise that we are genuinely Arsenal fans. As myself and Trevor that host it, but we've got a multitude of guys that come in and girls that come in and have their say. Have a wonderful summer, people. Up the Arsenal. Fuck Spurs. Well,
thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.